Hello and welcome. I'm Geeta Mohan and you're watching India Today Global. That's going to be the top focus in the bulletin today. The crisis in Iran and what America is going to do. Unrest across Iran has left at least 490 people dead as Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said they were ready for both war and negotiations. This comes as US President Donald Trump warned of taking action if killings continue, while the Iranian administration blames US for internal interference. Here's a report by Mahashweta Lala.
As unrest continues in all the 31 provinces of Iran, claiming lives of at least 490 people, including 8 children, according to a US-based Iran-focused human rights group, the Iran Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said Trump's remarks on taking action against Iran has fueled the protests and instigated anti-social elements, but has not ruled out negotiations.
در بین تظاهرکنندگان مشاهده شدند.
But what was important was that because of his comments, elements seeking to create chaos went after increasing the death toll in the hope of possibly drawing the United States into intervening. We do not seek war, but we are fully prepared for it. At the same time, as I have repeatedly said, we are also ready for negotiations.
Earlier, Trump on board Air Force One said Iranian leaders had called for negotiations. He again warned that if the theocratic authorities continue to kill people, then the United States will hit them at levels that they have never been hit before.
Well, if they do that, we'll consider things targets that they wouldn't believe. If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. They won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
During a protest rally in Los Angeles for Iranians, a U-Haul truck plowed into the rally. The U-Haul truck, with its side mirrors shattered, was stopped several blocks away and surrounded by police cars. Iran has also announced 3 days of mourning for what it called martyrs killed in Iranian national battle against the US and Israel. On the one hand, funerals of slain security force members were conducted, and on the other, several people gathered outside the country's forensic medical center to identify bodies killed during the protest. Marches in solidarity with the Iranian people were taken out in many countries. A small demonstration was held outside the Iranian embassy in London, where security was tightened a day after a video showed a man scaling the balcony of the Iranian embassy in central London and removing the national flag and hoisting the pre-Islamic Revolution era lion and sun emblem. Meanwhile, Iranian ambassador to India has called on people not to trust news circulated on foreign accounts, following the rumors of the arrest of 10 Afghans and 6 Indian nationals for rioting and destruction. Iranian authorities also organized large crowds attending a funeral procession of demonstrators who authorities claim were killed during terrorist actions led by the United States and Israel. With Mahashweta Lala, Bureau Report, India Today.
Today on India Today Global, we are getting you voices from all respects, from everywhere, from within Iran, from outside of Iran, and an Indian voice as well. Ilham Abedini, Iranian journalist from Tehran, joins me to discuss the situation on the ground. Ilham, thank you so much for joining me. What is your reading of the economic situation in Iran? People have taken to the streets. Is this a serious threat to the current administration?
First of all, thank you for having me. About your first question and the economic situation on Iran, it's completely obvious that the economic situation in Iran is not good. And in the recent years, in the recent round of elections, we've seen that people's expectation was about economic. Actually, all presidential candidate talk about economic situation, how to improve that. So it shows that in Iran, economic situation is not stable, is not good, and we face inflation in our country. But the important issue is that we faced the biggest and strongest actually sanction package that any country faced. So I think we have not to forget the impact of sanction and what we are seeing now in our economic situation. Absolutely, there are some mismanagement, some problems that we have here in Iran's in governing of the countries in economic situation, but I think the key issue is that we have not to forget how much these sanctions had influence of what we've seen here.
Right.
And this time, after the Iranian government tried to make some changes, amendments on economic situation, in the short term, we would face more economic crisis. But actually, the Iranian government vows to it could improve after that. But now we face this economic crisis, and even at first in this round of I have to call it riots and terrorist attacks. At first it was some kind of economic protest, and almost almost all protesters in the early days was people who work in bazaar, in markets, and
Right.
they had protested that the inflation is so high and the prices are not stable. But
Right.
and this is obvious that there are economic issues in Iran.
Okay, interesting. You were saying that it's earlier they were all protesters who were protesting on economic grounds. Now that's not the case. But the government is in catch-22 situation, Ilham. If they act against the protesters, US has promised action. If they do not, then their own existence is under threat. Trump has already threatened action. What's the situation on the ground on the fact that there could be action by the United States of America?
Actually, I think about Donald Trump and what he bought or what he done. Uh, there are many experiences, there are many events that we can judge about him and this. For instance, the latest step that he took, he just go on Venezuela and kidnap the legitimate president of there and abducted him. Or on the other case, we've seen the United States make some reward for Jolani and name him as a terrorist. But now he go on White House and just shake hands with Donald Trump, and also there are many other events, even about Iran. We know that Iran was on the meetings on nuclear issues, and it was discussing with the United States, but during the talks, the United States support Israeli regime and they attacked Iran. So I want to mention that we cannot rely on Donald Trump vows or claims against Iran or even in support of Iran,
Right.
if it claims.
Right, Ilham, if I could just ask you one more question. Will your allies, will Iran's allies like China and Russia come to Iran's rescue or not? Because you can say all of this, but they need help. So will China and Russia come to your rescue?
About China and Russia or any other countries that are allied with Iran, I have to mention that Iran could defeat Israeli regime and its allies in 12-day war. That was a really big military operation that happened against Iranian people. And Iran could manage that. Absolutely, there was economic cost and there are many, unfortunately, about more than 1,000 people in Iran killed by Israeli regime because of that 12-day bombardment. But at the final step, we've seen that the United States and Israeli regime tried to make ceasefire. And during that time, China, we didn't get any help from China or Russia or any other country. So we do not expect any country to do anything more than mutual cooperation
Okay, that's
to
interesting.
rescue us. And we could manage our domestic issues. But we sure that countries, especially in the actually south of the world, um, and developing countries, and also Russia, China, and even India,
Right.
that are rising power, they had to help each other to confront the hegemon of the United States and all plotted and sabotaged that the United States and its allies tried to do to confront the rising power of these countries. So we
Okay.
think that if these countries uh, help Iran, I don't want to say help, but if they cooperate with Iran, this is actually for the interest of themselves as well,
All right.
because this is a new world order, and if we want to get a better position in this new world order, we have to enhance our cooperation.
All right. Okay, Ilham Abedini, thank you so much for joining us here from Tehran. We'll keep coming back to you to know what's happening on the ground. But that's an Iranian voice from Iran. Let's listen into another Iranian voice outside of Iran from Paris, Truske Sadeghi, on the perspective of foreign intervention in Iran. What does she have to say when Iran says that America is meddling? Listen in.
Look, it's been more than 4 decades that regime is killing people in different forms by hanging them. This regime has no respect for doesn't believe the human rights. We have lots of experience in protests in Iran. In 2019, no one supported Iranian people. In 2022, hundreds of protesters killed, no one support them. And right now, we also see that many protesters are in the streets peacefully, unarmed. They are calling for their rights, and regime is using all its forces to kill them, all its weapons, all its security forces to kill them. Even this regime is trying to use its proxies in Iraq, in the Hezbollah, for suppression the rights of people in Iran. So when the problem was always for the Iranian people that no one helped them, support them. The Europeans, especially countries, were always believing on their benefits with this regime. During 2022, the main demand of all the people in Iran, without any difference, all of them was that please, they asked the European countries to put IRGC in the terrorism list, but they never did it. So what, for now, I'm talking about now, what US president says, it's like a promise. He made a promise, and we believe that they should stay on their promise.
Well, India is also monitoring the situation. What's happening in Iran does affect India. There are Indians in Iran. To a question on this, Foreign Secretary of India, Vikram Misri, had this to say. Listen in.
Insofar as the situation in Iran is concerned, I mean, it's a country that we have a very close relationship with. So we are watching the developments that are taking place there, the disturbances that one can see on the streets over there. We have a significant community of expatriate Indians and also students from India in Iran. Our embassy, despite the restrictions that are in place on information, etc., has been able to reach out to the student community and has managed to find out that they are all good, they are doing well, and they have not faced any difficulties thus far. We have advised all of our compatriots there to rest in place, to not venture out or find themselves in the middle of the disturbances that are going on, and we continue to watch the situation very, very carefully.
Now, to discuss the India perspective, I'm being joined by former Ambassador of India to Iran, Ambassador K.C. Singh. Thank you so much, Ambassador Singh, for joining us and discussing the matter. There was a meeting between Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump, and a lot of things changed after that. If you could zoom into the region and explain, should there be action against Iran? How much of a threat would that be to Israel? Because that's what is priority for America, and the prompt action of Tehran would be to attack Israel.
Exactly. You see, I think Israel is, according to me, probably overplaying its hand. It realizes its time is limited. There are demonstrations in Israel also. There is a corruption case against the prime minister. They also realize the midterm elections are coming up in US. So even President Trump, after November, may be a weaker president, not able to help Israel as much. So they, having completely eliminated, not completely eliminated, but completely weakened Hamas, weakened Hezbollah. That means the surrogates of Iran in the region have been cut off from Iran or weakened substantially. But Israel is still not fully satisfied without moving towards giving Palestine or negotiating for a Palestinian state. They want to take it to the other extreme, which is now eliminate Iran as a threat by removing the regime. Then it becomes completely dominated by Israel and America. But one thing which has happened is that Abraham Accords, which is what President Trump created during his first term, and they were supposed to draw in all the moderate Arab countries of the Gulf to normalize relations with Israel. That has not happened. In fact, we've seen a division develop now between Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates.
That's right.
Over South Yemen, over the Gulf of Aden, over Sudan, over Libya. So there's a division now, even amongst the conservative allies of the US. It is not a united GCC. And many of them, and China has come out openly in support of Iran. And that's where India comes in. I mean, where do we stand in this? Because we've had diplomatic relations with Israel since '91, but Prime Minister Modi has moved it to a very personal and highly personalized relationship between him and Netanyahu. Now, the problem with that is that, and we've come out with statements, but you can always see there's a little tilt towards Israel.
Ambassador, I would like to focus on that. Now, if the situation gets really bad in Iran, Now, that certainly is going to affect India in terms of trade, in terms of doing business and connectivity. Where does India then draw the line? Because you're talking about engaging Israel and engaging Iran as well. So where does India draw the line?
Connectivity is important but not critical. But what is critical for us is that access to the Gulf, to oil, our citizens there are not threatened. So as long as it is just Iran, we can manage it. Even if the sanctions, we've been managing despite the sanctions. Chabahar is there, even the Chinese are there, we are there. We'll keep developing. The Americans, they get angry, we can go a bit slow, then you can wait till, but that is no solution. You don't want that. I think essentially Israel is pushing to get total dominance in this area, and it doesn't look like it's going to be possible. But it remains to be seen. There may be cards that we are not that are not visible, like in case of Venezuela. We may just find if anything happens, I don't think it'll be a complete overthrow of the regime. It may be a reshuffle, like in Venezuela, if at all. Though that also seems unlikely.
Okay, Ambassador Singh, thank you so much for joining us. That's a very important aspect. There might not be a complete overthrow, but a reshuffle, maybe a regime change. But India Today Global over here will be keenly watching developments on the ground, what's happening in Iran, and bringing you all the latest developments. With that, it's a close of this edition of India Today Global. But before I go, glamour lit every corner of Beverly Hilton as the 2026 Golden Globe red carpet unfolded like a living couture gallery. Priyanka Chopra Jonas and Nick Jonas dazzled in Dior, and stars from Timothy Chalamet to Amal Clooney delivered unforgettable, jaw-dropping fashion moments. Take a look.
Under the crystal chandeliers of the Beverly Hilton, the 2026 Golden Globes red carpet unfurled like a living couture gallery. Sequins shimmered, tailoring cut sharp silhouettes, and glamour ruled the night, each arrival a cinematic moment. Leading the evening with undeniable star power, Priyanka Chopra Jonas alongside Nick Jonas commanded attention in sculptural Dior, setting the tone for a night defined by confidence, polish, and global elegance. That same classic Hollywood glamour carried seamlessly into Jennifer Lopez, who followed in a shimmering Jean-Louis Scherer creation, channeling old-school bombshell drama with unmistakable modern fire. Romantic modern glamour returned with Selena Gomez stunning in an off-shoulder black velvet Chanel gown designed by Matthew Blazy and crafted over 323 hours. While Benny Blanco complemented her look in a classic black tuxedo, accented with a jeweled brooch and embellished loafers. Ariana Grande followed in a dreamy, ethereal ensemble, transforming the carpet into a modern fairy tale. Elegance reached its peak when Amal Clooney, poised beside George Clooney, glided across the carpet in a vision of quiet luxury and intellectual glamour. From couture royalty to fearless fashion risk-takers, the Golden Globes red carpet was a luminous celebration of style, star power, and unforgettable glamour. With Alice, Entertainment Bureau, India Today.